taking testosterone up the wazoo and were winning. Biological women had no chance against doped up women like that. And trans women have a lot more testosterone naturally. Even if they start taking those drugs and lower the levels, the effects are still there. The muscle mass, the lung capacity, of course, the skeleton doesn't change. All of that is just not possible to mitigate that advantage.
You know what? It's just the bottom line.
Hi, everybody. I'm Jennifer McCreath. And that was Martina Navratilova about 3 or 4 weeks ago. It's supposed to be a news story about Wimbledon. It just seems every time Piers Morgan and Martina Navratilova have a chat, they can't help themselves but start talking about transgender issues. Now, I'll give it to you. Piers is a recognized, respected journalist. Martina Navratilova, yeah, the greatest tennis player of all time. But you know what? Neither of them are trans. Neither of them are doctors. And neither of them are qualified to talk about this. What Martina just said there is factually incorrect. She's right about one thing. The skeleton does not change. But the muscles do. And the lung capacity does. Let's get blunt here. Testosterone is supplied by the male sex hormones known as the testes. When you cut those off, you ain't getting no testosterone anymore. I know we all have a pituitary gland at the very top of our head, male and female, or whatever. And the pituitary gland does produce a little bit of testosterone in everybody. But it's negligible. It has nothing to do with the testosterone levels. If anything, the pituitary gland produces less testosterone in natal-born males than natal-born females. And okay, I didn't play the whole tape. I get what Martina was. She's saying it's concerning. You can't just let people compete strictly based on identity. You've got to have some parameters. But that's what I'm talking about. There are parameters, and when you go through, unlike the two of them, I'm not going to sit here and tell Piers how to be a journalist. I'm certainly not going to sit here and tell Martina how to play tennis. That's just as silly as them talking about trans issues. I am a trans person. I've gone through this. So I can give you a first-hand account as to what it's like. When you have your balls cut off and you start taking estrogen, you literally see your testosterone levels go down, your estrogen levels go up. And I can personally attest to the muscle strength, muscle mass going down. The lung capacity goes way down, VO2 max. You cannot breathe in and produce as much oxygen with every breath without the testosterone. I was an endurance athlete. I played a lot of tennis in my youth. Then I ran marathons a little later in life. If you compare, you look at pictures or videos of me, the body, you look at the times, transition slowed me down significantly. I went from being a top 10 percentage male marathon runner, and 2 years later I was bottom 10% in the female range. Not only did I slow down beyond adequate equal levels. Now we're talking marathon running here, and heavy bones do not give an advantage in marathon running, especially when you have weaker muscles and weaker VO2 max. Oh my goodness, I am sick, by the way. It's not COVID, but yeah, that's a whole other story. But Martina, if you want to be an ally, it would be helpful if you'd stop spreading misinformation. It would be helpful if you stop speaking as if you're an expert on this. If you really want to help when someone like Piers Morgan asks you questions about trans athletes, you should be directing him to speak with doctors or trans people who have actually gone through transition. Heck, you used to have a tennis coach by the name of Renee Richards. To my knowledge, the only trans pro tennis player ever. Renee Richards, formerly known as Richard Raskins, I believe the name was. How many tournaments did Renee Richards win after transitioning? Who did she beat? You're talking about trans women having unfair advantage and we're going to win all these events. Renee Richards did dick all, literally, in tennis. 0-3 against you, Martina. So it's just not true. How many trans athletes have won gold medals at the Olympics? Any medals? Even qualified for the Olympics. Trans athletes have been around for a while. It was 2003 that a group of trans athletes actually approached the International Olympic Committee and said, can we please start looking at guidelines for this? And only this past summer did we see trans athletes even good enough to qualify for the Olympics. I think there was a weightlifter in New Zealand, but she finished in like 18th place, way back. No competitive advantage. At least that hasn't been proven. So yeah, stop spreading lies. Stick to what you know. You're a tennis player. Talk about tennis. I clicked on the video because it was supposed to be about Wimbledon, and then I get this bullshit. I expect that out of Piers Morgan, but Martina, I expect more out of you, because you're supposedly an ally. Come on, we got to do better than this. I'd love to have a chat with you. If you want to pick up the phone, you can call me. Collect if you want. Let me know. So we shouldn't be fighting. We should be working together on this. I agree. You can't just let everyone participate with no restrictions. And I'll back you up on that. You can't just take a male who claims to be a woman and put them into the sport like that. But when you have transitioned, there needs to be an understanding that there's no competitive advantage once you've transitioned. I believe the guideline initially was 2 years after surgery. I can attest to that. Heck, 1 year after surgery, again, as I said, I went from being a upper tier male athlete to a lower tier female athlete. So, come on, how about we work together on this one? Because I think it'll accomplish a lot more, and we need to stop playing into these right-wingers, because they're going to turn us all against each other, and it doesn't help anyone. Well, I'm going to talk about Wimbledon, but we'll do that in another video. Got lots to say about that. Thanks for watching, everyone.